Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There was a Shanghai Bar Citizen event a few weeks ago. That's in China. There were a lot of rumours and implications as well as suggestions coming from that event, from the devs that attended and from Chris Roberts too. So I wanted to talk about Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, CitizenCon and a few other things that were discussed. A lot of Star Citizen devs and heavy hitters from CIG attended that event in Shanghai, and I believe it was the largest Bar Citizen gathering ever, I believe anyway. Please correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, it's basically second only to CitizenCon. 2,000 to 3,000 people showed up, I believe. Now, Chris Roberts and Sandy Roberts, they were not there, but they did appear on a live call, on a conference call in front of the audience there to answer some questions and talk about Star Citizen's future. However, a lot of this event does look like it's geared a bit towards marketing in China and Asia. Let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. CitizenCons, Bar Citizens, and even Inside Star Citizens and the development information that Cloud Imperium put out largely are marketing that helps either keep backers happy or attracts new ones. That's the nature of the beast. It looks like Cloud Imperium are going to be fostering their other communities, like in China, moving forward. And we did find out that they're recruiting a community manager for that area. During the conference call, a few things were talked about. After October 10th next year, they're going to potentially be doing another Bar Citizen tour or something and stop again in China. Now, Chris implied that there's a big announcement happening around 10th of October next year, or there's going to be a big release at CitizenCon next year, which is typically when CitizenCon's set, around the 10th of October. Obviously, this year, it's set on the 21st and 22nd of October, normally around the 10th. There are implications here, at least I believe from reading between the lines, and sort of what Chris is saying is that there may well be a Squadron 42 release for Q4 2024, or at least a major announcement which then allows them to have some solid marketing. Now, I think that they're going to be announcing some Squadron 42 stuff this CitizenCon, so 2023 CitizenCon. If you look at the roadmap, there's a load of Squadron 42 features that are coincidentally being completed before this year's CitizenCon, so it looks to me like they might be showing some stuff and telling and all that sort of jazz. We don't know this for sure, obviously, but there does seem to be something big that's happening next year beyond just CitizenCon, but we don't know. And you should have huge salt warnings because Cloud Imperium did potentially want to originally release Squadron 42 Episode 1 in 2016, or at least it was 2016 Answer the Call. That might not have been a Squadron 42 release for then, but it was something big that was supposed to happen that never did, so bear that in mind. Cloud Imperium might have targets for Squadron 42 Episode 1 for next year. Will they meet those? Will they get there? We don't know. Cloud Imperium really do want to get a finished product out there, though. It is so important for them. Having Squadron 42 get out there and getting like a 9 out of 10, because they need the game to be good as well. It can't just be, oh, they've got a product out, it's middling. It needs to be genuinely great. They've been given a huge amount of money and a load of time. Cloud Imperium need to get 9 out of 10, and then that gives them as much money and time as they want to complete Star Citizen, basically, right? People will then go, yes, you know what you're doing, you are able to make a game, and that will make Star Citizen and Squadron 42 having a released product significantly more mainstream. Any form of sort of people calling it a scam or vaporware or too feature creeped and feature bloated will be replaced with, okay, you can do it. There's a alpha or beta that we can play for Star Citizen in the meantime. And this very enjoyable single-player game. Chris went on to say that CitizenCon this year is a lot about Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, which makes sense. That's what we expected. 4.0 will have the first version of server meshing and new star system access. That is what Chris said. They're not splitting up like I thought they might. I thought they might be prioritizing Pyro over server meshing, but it looks like no, it's going to be server meshing, Pyro, jump points, and lots of other stuff too. He didn't elaborate on the lots of other stuff. He said he's not allowed to talk about it, basically. So it's been rumored as well that the Q4 end of 2023 patch will be 4.0, even if it's just in PT or testing in some form. I had expected an Alpha 3.21 that would focus on sort of bounty hunting and that sort of stuff, but it does appear, if rumors are to be believed, that it will be 4.0 by the end of the year, which, yeah, cool. We've had Pyro being the focus of CitizenCon for quite a while now. The road to 4.0, the road to Pyro. It does look like it's all coming together, but we still don't know if that is going to be what happens over the next few months. Chris did say there was going to be a lot more coming for Arena Commander as well beyond Alpha 3.20. Cloud Imperium think that the mode is important for testing, and players that sort of just want to jump in and get a quick experience, they want to test something, they want to fly around and do stuff without the risk of getting killed in the persistent universe. It's much more easily accessible. Experimental modes as well there allow for a lot more iteration and development in a focused way without having to be on a PTU build. You can actually have this in a live build and then change experimental modes in and out. And obviously master modes and that sort of stuff are being tested in experimental modes now on the 3.20 PTU. Sandy asked if players were more interested in a PC or console release for Squadron 42. So this implies that the game may be available on consoles at some point in the future too. This is important because it was originally stated that Star Citizen and Squadron 42 wouldn't be available on console, at least it would be a PC only game. But I suppose that statement was made kind of a decade ago now, and stuff has changed a lot with hardware and consoles. And if you can port a game over to console without any issues or downgrading or compromises with it, then why not? And I'm totally okay with that. I'm going to be playing it on PC, as long as it's not a port from console to PC. Ugh. If there are a few concessions as well for people that want to play on console, they just go, bam, I can play and it looks amazing still, and it doesn't get the cyberpunk unplayable treatment, then yeah, go ahead, sell more copies, expand the platforms. I'm sort of interested to know what people think about that. Like, is it like, no, they can't do a console release. If they try and port it across, it will cause those problems. There's no way that there can be sort of parity between a PC and a console release. Chris is looking forward to playing Starfield as well. So we talked about this a little bit. He feels that it's a gateway game to Star Citizen and other space games, but he wants an MMO, which is why he's building Star Citizen. Star Citizen will have more freedom, and it's a multiplayer game. After players are done with Starfield, Star Citizen will be there for them. And I totally agree with him on that. So some people state that every new space game is somehow a Star Citizen killer, but Star Citizen has only grown. I think Starfield is going to introduce a lot of people to the genre, and Star Citizen is going to be for anyone wanting more or that sort of MMO experience, and I very much am looking forward to Squadron 42 as well. It's not open world, you are a fighter pilot in the military. It's the spiritual successor to Wing Commander, which started a lot of space combat genre games, or at least inspired them. And Starfield is kind of like Skyrim in space with some more refined mechanics and some spacey, combat-y, and dogfighty sort of stuff in between, connecting those mechanics together. I'm very much looking forward to my playthrough of it. Chris went on to say that Star Citizen is still going to take a long time before it's ready, but they are getting there. They're making it bigger and better. The original idea of Star Citizen was much, much smaller. The community reaction is what allowed it to grow as much as it has. Chris didn't realise it was going to get so big, and there was so much hunger for a space game like Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. Star Citizen's long development cycle isn't the best though. Lots of mistakes, disappointment, moving goalposts, reprioritizations, but they very much are working on their games and building them. As slow and frustrating as it can be sometimes for backers and players, there is still something to play that is regularly updated, and they move ever closer to completion each year. And I personally believe that there is a bit of a wall and waterfall there afterwards of content that may come to us after 4.0 once they've got server meshing in there, and then again after Squadron 42's release, which will sort of represent the core of the game being done, and that allows for a huge amount of content to then come into the persistent universe, at least in my opinion. For some more China and Asia-centric highlights, there are no plans for CitizenCon in Asia at the moment, but they will have other events that they support. They do want some like big official events, if possible, in the future. Squadron 42 is going to be dubbed and subbed in Chinese, simplified, and traditional for subs as well, I believe they said. They're also expanding payment methods as well to support China and Asia better. Boom! That's it for your Shanghai Bar Citizen rumour video, reading between the lines of what Chris Roberts and Sandy were talking about when they were getting some questions on the stage. Take it with a reasonable amount of salt, just because, yeah, rumour and interpretation. But I am really interested to know what you think. Do you think we'll see Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 by the end of the year? Do you think at CitizenCon this year they may announce a release date or show a load of Squadron 42 stuff? Do you think by the end of next year we might see Squadron 42 actually in our hands? Do you think it's sensible for Cloud Imperium to expand into China and Asian markets? Are you playing Starfield as well? What do you think of that? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. For those of you that are keeping your eyes peeled, you will have noticed that the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale again until the 8th of September. They are natively supported in Star Citizen, giving you precision head and eye tracking that can help with immersion, as well as adding another level of control to your toolset. It's a cool piece of tech that you can use for streaming and seeing where your eyes are going, and loads of other games are supported too. Check out my links below to get one of those at discount. NordVPN is amazing and you should buy it. It's so useful, it's easier to tell you what it can't do. NordVPN can't do your taxes. Nord, how much do I owe for VAT? NordVPN can't help you buy more spaceships. Nord, add a terrapin to my shopping cart. NordVPN can't cook for you. No, my cabbages! And NordVPN can't be your girlfriend. Can't or won't NordVPN, if that is your real name. NordVPN.com/BoredGamer will help you connect to the internet more safely, securely, and anonymously, with greater access to the content you want. But can I teach it to love? Links below for the best NordVPN deals around. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for September, that's for the Drake Corsair, that fantastic exploration ship. Not only will you be able to explore the verse with it, but the ship is perfectly competent at a huge range of gameplay and is a fantastic mission running ship. You can use it for cargo, you can put some vehicles in there. It's reasonably good in a fight, one of the true multi-role, multi-crew ships. To be in for a chance of winning one of those, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details down below. Also down below are links to be able to support the channel more. There's the join button, making you one of my elite channel members. You'll get occasional exclusive content. There's also YouTube badges and emotes to show your support. There's also Patreon for those of you that prefer that. We try to mirror the rewards on there as well. But just people liking, subscribing, and sharing these videos goes a long way. A heartfelt thank you to everyone that watched the video. I hope you have a great September, and I'll see you in the verse.